Okay, it's 6:30. We'll call the meeting to session. We'll start with our prayer and our pledge, and then Mr. Humphries will open some prayer.
Go bow your heads with me, please. Father God, I just thank you for this opportunity for us to meet together tonight. Father God, I thank you for these students and coaches that we'll be showcasing, Father God, and I thank you for all the skills that you've given them and all the gifts that you've given them. I thank you for all the success that we've been able to have this year at JGISD. Father God, I just thank you for the opportunity to be here. I pray that the business we do tonight and the business that we do in our lives, Father God, that we look to you and that we glorify you in each and everything we do. Just ask you to forgive us when we fall short. In your great name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation. Justice for all. I advance the flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Move into recognition. We are gonna do it down that way. We're gonna do it up here. Are y'all okay the same way you did it down there? Once we get done, guys, if you'll hang around with everybody, we're gonna take a picture with everybody on the stage like we did last time. So it's gonna take a while.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we'll start it off. We're gonna start off with the sixth debate. Great job on the stage. Good job, Ms. Nolly. I guess we'll have to ask your parents, but it sounds like you guys are pretty good. Or not very fun to argue with. But great job at today. First off, I want to recognize Mr. Cooper Spray. We want to recognize Ms. Melody McLean. And of course, their coach, Ms. Hillary Blacker. So are they the best arguers out of y'all's classes? Yeah. All right, next we'll have girls basketball. Can't say enough about their season. They did it, just the way you want to, made the playoffs and then just kept winning week after week after week. Quick, if I'm wrong, that's only the fourth time we made the Final Four in the girls. That's awesome. Certainly gonna miss the seniors, but there's a lot of young talent coming up, so it's gonna be a fun time coming up. We'll start off with Kelsey Harrison. James Chisholm. Play. Mayor McDonald. Sydney Hall. Gail Mosley. Eddie Ross.
Remington Long. Redford. Sarah Ock. Ella Long. No. Evan Chisholm. Ken Land. Their answers were Reed Chisholm, Lexi Long, and Ivy Vargas.
No, lady.
Jaybird, you boys have been an amazing group to watch. You know, have back-to-back championships. They come on, let's give it up for that. Bad here. Hold your hand. Good morning. You know, pray. Thomas Stanley. Chisholm. Paul Gentry. Mrs. Craig. Lynn Baldry. Chris Real. Mark Rose. Blackburn. Karen. Karen Doug. Ethan Carruthers. Scott coaches Brian Blacker and Don Stanley. Don't squeeze in, that's the picture. Or y'all come up here. If you're short. Not good. The next is going to recognize our robotics kid, Black person. Congratulations on the plus success. We're going to start that off with Hunter Abernathy. Ethan Carruthers. Andre Scarangella. Wayne Balder. Abigail Mosley. John Scott, and Steve Infinger. Thanks, John, for coming. Great job.
Let's go.
Next, we will move on to the principal report.
That kind of ruins my principal report, but, it's a lot of it, but, student enrollment right now, we're at 181. We have 52 in high school, 32 in junior high, 97 in elementary. Again, 181 with 25 transfers. I think we had something wrong on the deal before to have 26. I know we've gained 2 students since we last met, but there was a glitch somewhere along the way. I think it might have been one of our students that's half day that we have coded, so, but we're at 181 right now. That is the correct number. Like we just talked about, state champions in basketball, great experience to get to be there and get to see all the fans there. I'm always impressed by the number of people and the support we have for our students. And I mean, all you being here and all them being here tonight is just a testament to that. So very, very proud of them. And that was a great experience. So right after that, we traveled on to Austin. And again, Cooper and Melody finished third. I believe that's Miss Blacker's highest finish since she's been here. Did a great job. If you've never, all of you that have teenagers, you get to argue with them, but they actually get to argue with others. It's really interesting. It's really, really neat. Got to go to that in Congress. So they did a great job there. Lasted, went 4 rounds the first day. They were there from 9 to 5, and then second day went back from 9 to about 3, and then they lost in the semifinals to the team that won state. So they did a super job there. The robotics team, Hunter, robotics has been off and on because of some scheduling things, but Hunter did advance. He will be competing at the World Robotics Competition. It's on May 10th in Corpus Christi. So that's a really, really neat thing. He qualified for that and gets to go, and so that's really, really neat. And then they did advance to the state meet in robotics. We just found out. That's Keith, what that is in.
That's actually May 10th.
May, okay, my
The
date.
other one is April 18th.
I read the wrong date. It's right there, robotics. Yes, okay. April 18th, May 10th. But the robotics is in Corpus on May 10th. And then the World Robotics is in Houston, so apologize for that. But really, really neat. If you haven't seen robotics, that's another really neat thing. And then our one act play advanced the area round. They'll be competing on April 10th at Abilene Wiley. And so they advanced on, did a great job. As far as the classroom goes, we completed interim assessments in preparation for STAR. So that gives us our final data to look at for what we need to work on and things we need to look back over. And so kind of now we're headed more towards review mode as we're doing STAR testing. If the calendars have changed a little bit on STAR testing, we split up the English language arts because of a conflict with the one act play on April 10th. So we'll be testing 3rd through 8th on that day. And then we'll be testing the high school kids, I believe, on that next Tuesday. We did change that up because they used to set days aside for when we test. Now you just test when you test. Schools that don't have conflicts in schedule, they don't have stuff going on. So all this advancement is great, but it does cause for some flexibility and some change in schedule. And so we're doing that. We think we have things set, but something could pop up between now and then and cause the schedule conflict. So we already had dates set, so we're not just changing them at random, but the reason we're changing them is to help with the events that we have scheduled and the conflicts that we have. And we hope we keep having these conflicts because that means our kids are advancing and doing well. So that's a great problem to have. Tomorrow, as you can see, this is for all the decorations that were mentioned. We are having the UIL academic meet here tomorrow. So this will be the hospitality room tomorrow. And so we will have an early release at 12:30. We have FFA going to Tarleton tomorrow. On Friday, Double Mountain Relays and Astronaut at 10:30 starting at 10:30 in the morning. It is a field events finals only for that day if you have kids, so they will not be running twice. And then FFA is going to West Texas A&M for a CE Invitational. Saturday, the FFA is at Clarendon for an Invitational, and then we have baseball at Ira. So that's kind of the schedule. If you want something to do, want something to attend, we have something pretty much 6 days a week from now until May. So again, good problem to have. That's my report. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next we'll move to the superintendent report.
The problem that Jamie noted, Rural is not having to deal with that. Spur's not having to deal with that. Escamont's not having to deal with that. It's a good problem to have. I want to say thanks to the board for expressing your confidence in my ability to try to help you bridge to your next superintendent. I want to say thanks to many of the stakeholders in the community that have said nice things to me over the last 2 weeks. I want to say thanks to Lacey, Jamie, Keith, Tanya, Kelsey, for helping me figure some stuff out as I've been in the office up there the last 3 weeks. And these tables and stuff, Christy Tidmore put those out. As Jamie said, we're hosting again. We're hosting the district academic meet, which we have so many times. And it's one of the blessings of having been blessed. And Mo and I raised Summer and McKenzie. One of the tenets was, to whom much is given, much is required. And we at Jayton have been given much. And so I think it's a blessing that we have the opportunity to serve our neighboring schools in this way. Neil Shue and the Region 17 Board of Directors sent congratulations. I'll send that around the horn to you. About 20 years ago, when I was trying to earn a degree, I came across a book called Stewardship: Choosing Service Over Self-Interest by a guy named Peter Block, a business person. And it had a profound impact on the way I think and try to do business. I believe that this place exists for the purpose of learning. And this is a very special community because, I mean, all you gotta do is go to a game or an event and you see how people come out. And we have been charged as stewards of the two most valuable things this county has, which is its children and its money. Different people put those in different order, but those are the top two things. And so it's very much at the front of my mind as I'm going to be making decisions over the next week or the next month or the next year, however long you all had me doing this. But I want you to know this, every one of you, that in every respect, I will be as transparent as I can possibly be. Obviously, sometimes I can't tell you what I know, and if I can't tell you, I'll say I can't tell you what I know about that. And then also, I will treat everybody respectful. That's what it's going to be. My focus will be on learning. We're trying to prepare these young people for futures that we cannot even imagine. And we're not preparing them for our past, they're trying to prepare them for their future. And there's some tricky decisions that have to be made along the way. But I do believe one thing is for sure, that if they feel loved and nurtured like we just demonstrated, That goes a long way toward the process. Now, to, the kudos. State basketball tournament, our bus broke down again. And, I would like to say thanks to Jamie and, Humphreys and Josh Stanland, because they probably deserve combat pay. They just camped out with the bus and the mechanic, which I didn't meet the mechanic, but it sounds like he was kind of shady maybe. But, they stuck with that bus and that mechanic until about 11 o'clock that night. And we just didn't know. One of the benefits of that, well, there's two benefits. They got the bus running. And the second benefit is that Josh Stanland now knows how to hotwire vehicles. He can have a side gig if he needs one. But I want to thank them for going above and beyond that. I also want to say thank you, kudos to Angela Woolley and Stephanie Carpenter. Most of my career was spent as a high school principal. And you have no idea how valuable it is when you have cheer sponsors that can take care of business, take care of the girls, and tamp down problems. And it's hard on a normal year. But when you have teams that just advance in every sport along the way and they just keep going, then these girls, not only are they trying to play ball, they're also cheering. You know, so they come out of the dressing room and they're cheering. And then you have all the extra trips and many times overnight trips, which is a huge responsibility when you're taking a bunch of beautiful young ladies out into places like San Antonio and Austin. And I mean, it's a burden. It's a heavy burden. And I want to express kudos to Angela and Steph for that. When our bus was broken down in San Antonio, we didn't know if we were going to get it fixed or not. So I was jockeying, trying to figure out what to do. What are we going to do? How are we going to get them home? And I looked at charter services, several different options, but I ended up calling the director of transportation at Alamo Heights ISD there in that part of the world. And Leah Larson was the name of that person. And without hesitation, when I told her what our problem, she said, we got a bus if you need it. You just tell us, we'll get it to you. And so I would like to thank her publicly. Lone Star Cup standings. Here they are from the UIL webpage. Those are the current standings. And as you can see, we sit atop. When you see these shaded areas, those points were accrued along with the state championship trophy. It's my understanding we were in the running last year and got nosed out by whom?
Borden County.
Oh, gosh.
They want to stay. They want to stay.
So, and you can see, but we're not done yet. I mean, these are the events that have happened so far. Here is the list of the events that are included in this process. Can y'all see that all right? So we still have golf, we still have tennis, we still have one-act play, we still have track and field. I noticed that military marching band is one of them, so I guess there's an Aggies somewhere involved in that process. But we still have some stuff outstanding, but we're, as Jamie said earlier, we're pretty well positioned in several of those things to keep advancing. Legislative update. I don't want to spend a lot of time with you on this one, but I'll just be very quick. This is these are the kinds of categories that the Texas legislature is entertaining bills, and these only have to do with school. They don't have to do with county or taxes or municipality. I mean, this is just school stuff. There's been over 8,000 bills filed with the legislature, and they all go through a lot of painful sifting and sorting. There's not much to know yet because the ones that have some real possibility of living are making their way through subcommittees right now. And I don't know if you ever sat through a committee hearing in Austin, but it's a terrible way to spend your time, just an awful way to spend time. But as those bills begin to take life, the ones that stand a chance of surviving, then I'll share with you the ones that I think are most relevant to our work here in Denver. Okay, that's all I've got, unless you got questions for me on the superintendent report.
The only thing I heard was when Mr. Humphreys and Josh were out there, like the homeless people started feeling sorry for them, as they want to go down If the homeless people wanted to go get them a cheeseburger, they were out there so long.
Yeah.
Okay, next we'll move to the consent items. We will look through the review and approve the minutes, February 19th, 2025, regular board meeting, and March 4th, 2025, called board meeting. The permanent school fund report and the class fund reports, financial reports, monthly check bills and investments. I went through all those. I didn't really see anything that stuck out to me. Anybody else? That's good. Andy makes a motion to approve. Second. Cody Stanley seconds. All in favor? Okay, move on to public comments. There's nothing there. Next we'll move into good. Yeah, okay, we'll move to financials. The Nelson Coulter audience with Kent County Commissioners.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to say to the board, I apologize for the not getting your agenda to you like you normally. I was so proud of myself on Sunday afternoon for finally figuring out board book. And I hit the button to publish it publicly, and I thought, score. And then Cody texted me Monday and said, are you going to send the agenda to the board? And I missed that button. So I'll get it right next time. I asked Judge Coulter, which is really hard for me to say. I asked Judge Coulter for permission to meet with the county commissioners on Monday morning, and he gave me a little time at the front of the agenda. As you all know, the school and the county commissioners are in a kind of an awkward marriage in our county due to the Texas law. I experienced a similar sort of an awkward marriage over in King County at Guthrie. They're a common school district, so it's also an awkward marriage, just slightly different in nature. It goes beyond money over there. Here, it's pretty much just about money. But I asked to meet with the commissioners first to tell them thank you. The permanent school funds they are the caretakers of that money. And they have to do it with an eye on good stewardship. And they can't use it for anything else other than the school. So it's really not our money to spend. We can only spend it when the county commissioners say, we agree, you can spend it. And then the available school fund is just the interest off of that. But in both cases, we as a school make requests for that money that the legislature has set aside for us. But we don't get it until or unless the county commissioners agree that we're using it in good faith and for good purposes. And so we've got some former commissioners in here. I get one, a current commissioner in. So that, just like us, they are stewards of the county's resources and caretakers of the county's people. So it's a heavy responsibility. So I asked them to meet with them so I could say thank you for supporting the school. Thank you for helping us when we asked for help. And also, I told them that I felt like as a rancher, I have to examine the fences. And so I check fences and to see which wires are stretched a little. I see which ones are popped. And occasionally I find places where something just plowed right through the fence. But in any case, in all of those cases, it's my responsibility to see if I can keep the fences mended. And so that was another purpose for me to ask me. And so I had a nice conversation with them. Financials, the next discussion point. Is whether or not, this is 8B on the, are you ready to go to that?
Yeah, okay.
8B on the agenda. I've had a few conversations with people. I know that in the fall, we had 4 bond proposals and 3 of them failed, which is painful to deal with. But the question is now, if the board thinks we want to try again this fall, then we need to get that train fueled up and try to get it ready to leave the station. So that's my question to you all, is whether or not you think we want to try. And if you do, then what I will do after that is begin having conversations with you all about what things we need to consider. And we can kind of start building a plan. And we also have conversations with people in the community about what we think might have a cost tag for the passing. So,
And I just haven't discussed it with him. I mean, obviously buses, I mean, transportation, definitely we
Yep.
need that. So that's why I just kind of gave him some ideas. We've been trying to build 1 or 2 houses a year. And then I've heard a lot of people, well, I actually asked a few people how long the auditorium's been the way it is, and I think you said they put those chairs in there when you were in elementary school, so it's been there a long time. And I asked those questions because we're doing one act play in Aspermont. And the reason why is because we're not set up to be able to do one act play in our auditorium. So maybe updating that where we can, I mean, we do everything else here. We do tennis, everybody wants to play football, everybody wants to play basketball. They're doing, the UIL tomorrow. So maybe refreshing the auditorium to where we can do one act play here. And I'm sure other things would come along with it. So I just threw some ideas up there.
I think a bond's a great way to pay for any activities we're trying to build. I'd like to see us try to pass another one.
well, in our situation, as a general rule, it doesn't cost the taxpayers much money.
Right.
But anytime you try to sell a bond, I mean, you start out with a 50-50 split. I mean, you're playing on the margins to try to get enough votes to pass.
I say go for it. I think we've all learned a lot in the process of bond. And I think we've learned ways to improve. So it's a great idea.
Okay, I'll begin putting together some parts and pieces and have conversations with you. I'll share it with you. I think you all already know, and I know those people over there know, I'm probably guilty of over communication as opposed to not enough communication. So we'll begin seeing if we can assemble the parts and the pieces for that. And perhaps at the April board meeting, maybe we can bring some clarity to what it is, how much and how we think we're gonna do it. Ready to go to the next one?
We can go to 8C, discussion possible action on amendment to 24-25 budget.
Okay. Speaking of bonds, this is the technology bond that they did pass in the fall. And so the investment bankers that you work with, Hilltop Solutions, I think was the name of it. Those people go into the money market and start selling those bonds, and investors buy those bonds, and the money flows to that lady right over there. And it changes our bottom line in our budget. And so this is what that's about. It's money that's flowed in from the sale of those bonds. And Lacey asked if we could put that as an amendment to the budget right now to show that we received those bonds and now they are part of the revenue. Any comments to add or subtract to that, Lacey? If I botch it up, just step on my toes. That's okay. My wife does that all the time. Christie, can you attest to that?
I'll make a motion.
Jeff makes a motion to approve. I'll second it. All in favor? Next, we will move to 8D, discussion possible action on purchase of hotel rooms for the Boys State basketball trip to San Antonio. And that's approval because it was so fast and furious.
And exceeds my spending authority.
So we will need
I don't know if we can turn the rooms back to them now. I think we probably ought to pay them.
I'll make the motion. Andy seconds it. All in favor? Board governance policy and procedures. 9A, discuss TASB employee opinion survey results.
As you all remember, the board commissioned the Texas Association of School Boards to do an employee satisfaction survey. I think that was December, I think. And so I'm going to pull that up. And for those of you here, I'm going to walk through it. The board has seen it. We'll walk through it very quickly. What we're going to do in the morning is posted on our website if you want to dig into it a little more carefully. Back to the issue of transparency. The board authorized the survey. The teachers did the survey. And it's my belief that if we go to that process to tell people we're gonna ask your opinion in a public way, then the data belongs to us. And so we'll post it publicly. TASB offered to send somebody out here, to talk us through it. But I told Cody, I don't really think it was necessary for us to pay them to do that. As one of my mentors says, if you punish data long enough, it'll say anything you want it to. So we'll just take a quick run through this. And again, you'll be able to look at it more carefully while you're drinking coffee or wine, whatever, at your leisure. Just a lot of blather, introductory stuff. One thing I would like to say about the way TASB's people handle these things too, because they realize this is a small school. And so on the hard yes, no questions or ABC questions, okay, they just leave that there. But on the open comment stuff, they go through and scrub that stuff a little bit so that it removes elements that might reveal someone's identity. So if they were taking a pretty hard shot at us, they want us to hear the hard shot, but they don't want us to be able to know who said it, which is, I'm thankful for that. So you can see right here, this is just an overall summary of the data. Job satisfaction, good. Working conditions, very good. Relationship with coworkers, good. So, and then the two lowest spots there was employee confidence in district leadership and board of trustees. You all will hear this from me more than you want to. Another book that profoundly impacted my thinking was one called Good to Great, written by Jim Collins several years ago, and it's about high-performing organizations. And he said one of the most important things that high-performing organizations do is they face the brutal facts. They take a hard look in the mirror and they see what they got to fix to reverse the trends. And so we own it. We own it. The types of respondents, obviously, part of them were teachers, part of them was staff. No surprise there. Length of employment. And I can tell you from my other job of teaching people to be principals and superintendents, it is rare to have the longevity of employee service in a school this long. It's a pretty brutal marketplace right now. People don't stay with it very long. So we're blessed to have people that love our kids and stay with us. Moving on quickly. Try not to put you to sleep if I can help it. Factors that contribute to job satisfaction: respectful treatment, trust, relationships, meaningful work. Isn't that why we all do it? Especially those of you that get paid so well. Safe working conditions. All right. I'm gonna go creep and try not to make you dizzy. The Likert scale is a researcher language. You don't care. That's when you got A, B, C, D choices. Job satisfaction. Proud to work for Jayton. I like the work I do. 100%, 100%, 98%. It's just marvelous. Just marvelous to have people that happy with the work that they're doing. And the kids benefit. We'll move on down. Working conditions. Reasonable work hours. I don't know how that many people said that because I've seen the way these people are working. Holy cow. Some of them, I don't know how they go home. Workload is appropriate for my position. Environment is safe, 95%. Secure in my employment. Okay, I'm gonna motor compensation.
Say when you love your job, it's not really a job.
Do what?
They say when you love your job, it's not a job.
Well, that's true. Right. And I keep telling my wife that. And she, as long as I keep bringing money home, she's okay with it. But compensation and benefits, fair pay. 3/4 of them believe they're being fairly compensated. Competitive with other districts. Adequate. enough information about the benefits, to meet my needs. I assume that comes out of Lacey's office, I guess. I get help with problems or questions. Most everybody feels like they can get help. Relationship with coworkers. I can depend on them. I like the people I work with. That's a lot, 95%. I feel loyal to them, 85%. My team works well together, almost 80%. Pretty functional. Relationship with supervisor. Supervisor sets clear goals and objectives. And I guess the supervisory roles would be me and Jamie and Andy. Is Andy direct supervisor over help or not? Okay. My supervisor makes timely decisions, 80%. I get the training I need, 93%, communicate, 71%. Trust my supervisor. If you're keeping a list, another great book is The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. A good one to read. I receive recognition and praise for doing a good job, 56%. My supervisors talk to me about my progress, 59%. District communications. I'm gonna quit jabbering. I'm just gonna move through these a little bit so you can look at them. As I told the board 3 weeks ago, and I've lived the experience, and I know so many superintendents, being the principal of the school is the hardest job in the school district. Because it doesn't matter what decision you make, everybody's not gonna like it. And the easy decisions get made in room 15 or in the gym or in the band hall. The only ones you get to make are the crappy ones. And usually the menu is short and ugly. Okay, well, can I stop that? Okay. And again, we'll post this on the website tomorrow. You can look at it and dig into it more if you want to.
We will move to 9B, discuss April board meeting date, April 21st and 28th.
I just looked at the calendar and those look like reasonable dates, but I'm not married to those. You all know better than I do.
Which day? 21st to the 28th.
First work better for me, that's all right.
Well, what day is that, Steve?
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, both of those dates are on Monday.
Monday's good for me.
Lennon's birthday's on the 28th, so we'll work this up for all of this.
I'm good with 21st. Andy?
Yeah, I'm good.
21st is good?
21?
Sir.
Okay, thank you.
We do it at 6:30?
6:30?
6:30.
I don't know, I mean, I'm an old guy. Y'all wanna do it at 3 in the afternoon. Turn it into a pumpkin at 8:30. Okay.
Facilities, property, safety and security. 10A technology bond update, marquee, smart board and other elements. Mr. Enfinger, would you like to share?
Yes, sir. Keith, you ready for me to pull that up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First thing I'll talk about is the interactive smart boards. We've already purchased those and, I was estimating about 80,000 on that. We got them for 66.5 just about, and we already have half of them installed. Had somebody here did a training during conference periods today, so there's more of a, two or three teachers with the instructor, and most of them I got positive feedback on what they got from her, because they're a little different. They're the same brand boards, but some things obviously work different. So that's already purchased and done. The next item we're looking at is an updated, and changing out the marquee out by the road, because that's been a problem for quite some time, I was told. So, we're basically gonna go from the concrete up with a new design here. I did attempt to get 3 quotes. One vendor, after 5 attempts, never got back with me, so I ended up with 2. The one I'm recommending is, this one, and it was 47.6, somewhere right around that amount.
That's down here somewhere. Tell me when you see it.
I think it's on the next page. Yeah, right there. We're 47.1.
Okay.
Would be the dollar amount. So if you'll scroll back up,
Here?
let's go down a little bit further. So that's roughly the size of the sign. It's almost going to be identical to what it is now. If we went higher, we'd have to tear out the entire base, and then you're looking at, over 100,000, and we'd have to get textile approval, which I'm sure we could probably swing here, but, anyway, I just felt it was probably better if we just stuck with the same size that we have now. The logo on the top, that's one thing I want to discuss real quick.
You ready?
Yes, sir. So those are kind of 3 options. Obviously, that first one, the right-hand side, is a reverse logo, which wouldn't work at all. But the consensus from me talking to the admins, that seems to be kind of the design that we're recommending we put on the top. But on the right-hand side, Mr. Humphries had a good idea that we do the Lady J logo on the right, a regular logo on the left, but have that there. It looks more clean and all that. Do y'all have a preference on any of those other options or not?
So you're saying the top one, the Jaybird on the left and then the Lady J's on the right, I'd like that.
I
Yeah.
like that too.
Would that be a good option?
Yep.
Okay, that's really the only thing I'm looking at changing in this quote, and it's not gonna change the quote, that's just a graphic that they're gonna do and mock up, and that'll be it. And then the display itself will be obviously digital. And this new one, we'll be able to do remote from anywhere. And we don't pay for the ongoing connection in the sign like we do with the current list. So, should be a little better set up. Obviously, it'll be better resolution, than what we have now. So
Sounds good.
Is there a warranty with it?
there is a warranty,
Cause I don't think that
default
other
is-
one's worked since I've been here.
Yeah, default is 3 years. This company's done a lot of schools and area around our area, and I've talked to a few of those, and they've been very pleased with them. The other company was one of the other quotes I got that of what we currently have, and we're not doing that one. And everybody I talked to that has them has had the same issue that we did, couldn't get support. They'd send you parts to make you pay for them, but not get it fixed. So this guy said they could normally be here within a day to fix something if we had something wrong. It seemed promising. I know you never know till you get into it, but it seemed pretty promising to me, so.
Done with that? From the financial side of that equation, you saw the quote was 47,000. The way I would like to proceed is, since that was bond money dedicated for technology upgrades, we do it. But if you want me to bring it to you as a separate action item for the board, we can do that too. However you want to do it.
I don't think that's necessary. I think we do it.
Bond money.
Yeah.
Okay, change your mind. If some of you have heartburn about that, let me know and we'll put it on the agenda at the next meeting as an action item. While we're on that topic, one of the very first questions I asked Keith,
Mr. Coulter, what's the timeline on that?
Once I get, a PO done and approval to them, I'm thinking maybe a couple of months.
Okay.
Is what they recommended. It's gonna depend on availability of parts and some of that stuff with these tariff issues, might affect that, but they didn't seem too concerned when I talked to them. So,
today is Wednesday.
Yes.
I'll flag my calendar for Monday to tell him go unless one of you says, I'd rather wait and have it on the agenda. While we're on the topic though, one of the first questions I asked Keith, because I knew that the $1 million had passed for technology upgrades, one of the first questions I asked is, how have you all talked about spending that money? And so here is the email he sent to me about the conversation that he had had with Mr. Bignell about that. So, I don't know if you all had seen this or not, have you?
We've seen the touch screens, the smart.
I don't know if we've seen it all together.
Not all.
Okay. 22 interactive touch screens, 44 access points. And Keith, tell me which of these have been done?
the only thing that's officially been done yet is the interactive touchscreens.
Okay.
And obviously, we're still working on it because we still got to get them installed in the rooms that we haven't touched yet. They're really difficult. You can't do them by yourself.
And that was the lady that was here today, right?
Correct. And so that project is paid for. The digital marquee, I estimated at 100 because I didn't have any clue yet what it was gonna be. It's obviously gonna be less than that. Hopefully we can get the ball rolling on that. The change out of the access points, I've already contacted a couple of companies to get estimates, but I definitely want to get more and look at options on that. When we do Wi-Fi, we currently only have 32. We're expanding to 44 because we have a lot of rooms that just have one. I mean, you have one for 2 rooms. We're going to the model that has one for every room. So we're expanding that. So that 200,000 is that should be overkill on that estimate. Just depends on what we get. And, we're gonna do 21 desktops in the computer lab, the elementary computer lab. And I've had a few people question, why are we doing so many in the lab? We're doing that so that Ms. Harrison can take a full class of kids in there and do a training, an update, ASVAB testing, whatever, and we have a better spot to go in there and do teacher training if we ever need to, that we have good desktops. So those are getting a little dated. Obviously furniture for in there since we only have half the lab. The laptops for next year for the 7th through 12th grade will be on there. We're due for that change out. We're rolling the current ones down to 3rd through 6th. Every 3 years, that will be our rotation from now on. And then, obviously cases for the laptops. So that's the only things that we've got definitely keyhole that we know we're focusing on. I am gonna also do sound for the other gym, but it's not gonna be maybe $6,000. So, we just need something in that other gym that's permanent that we can go in there and turn on. So,
What about a screen like they have in Lamesa and their gym that big? You were familiar with that? Did you put that in?
I didn't put that in, but I was there in that process. I mean, I know the company that put it in.
You like what they have over there? What it is in their gym? They have a huge TV screen. I don't know what technology or what's made of, but we played over there a few times and I think it'd be good for like assemblies or any kind of student gatherings for guest speakers or movie, whatever, announcements or something, but it was a huge screen in their gym, which I haven't seen, not too many schools have that.
I've actually talked to a vendor about the possibility of a projector or a screen, or what that is just a lot of TV panels together. It's not interactive, because it's just TVs up there, and, so I can get him to send me a quote for a 220-inch diagonal panel set to go in between those pillars in that gym. We kind of looked at that the other day, but I didn't know. I gotta see what the money is on that before we really look at
Okay.
going down that road.
We talked about it a few years ago, me and BJ brought it up. We kind of got priced out of it, but I didn't know what
You're talking about the game gym?
either, whatever works best, either the auxiliary gym or game gym, but, it was pretty impressive what Lamisa has over there in their gym. It's for student assemblies and pep rallies, guest speakers, stuff like that, videos.
Down in the auxiliary gym would be perfect, because it's right there in the center and everybody's on one side. It would be ideal in that gym. The game gym would be kind of difficult, just because there's not a lot of room.
Would it need
on
to
the
be
ends.
retractable?
The one I'm looking at wouldn't be.
Well, I mean, if it was in the game gym, because it's
We could
not a
do that.
real high ceiling,
I'm just,
I thought, but
by the time you do an electric retractable screen and a high-end projector, you've almost spent as much as what one of those panels, the wall panels would be.
Okay.
Maybe not as much, but they have come down a lot in price over the years. The one in Lamisa is more designed as a scoreboard and was done by Daktronics.
Okay.
And so it'll mimic a scoreboard and do the other one. They did one on both ends. And they have had horrible luck with it, not working. Lots of problems with that setup, from my understanding.
Okay.
So,
No, I'd say first we take care of our needs in the classrooms, and if there's, I don't know what the whole budget looks like, but if there's anything left over.
Cool. I guess that's it on,
Thank you, Keith.
yeah, hey, Tony.
Mr. Enfinger, appreciate it. Next, we'll move to 10B, update on insurance adjustment on the Freightliner bus.
Freightliner bus is the horse killer, you know, and them and John Stanley. We finally got the insurance adjustment on that, and it was 18,000. And, I had set that aside on my desk, to bring to you as a separate item, and then after having, I thought about it a little bit, and I had a conversation with Lacey, and I said, is that a fresh money spend or not? And she said, that's insurance money. So I made the decision and told Andy, take it to the shop and let them start working on it. So if that was the wrong thing, y'all can beat me with a wet noodle.
what shop was that?
Precision body.
Was it Precision?
Yeah. Right, did you hear that?
Yeah, yes,
How you feel about that?
I like it.
Okay.
I like Tony.
And I would think that you know.
Worked with him a
deal-
lot over
You deal with that stuff, right?
I did.
Thank you. Well, that's it. That's all the news I have on that. You ready to go to 10C?
Yes, sir. We know.
So then this is relevant to the conversation that we were having earlier about bond or no bond. The Freightliner's in the shop. We have the two little route buses, number 303 and 304. 303 has 180,000. Mr. Bicknell had gotten quotes for two little buses and a 72 passenger back in October from A to Z. And he got a quote from Thomas in January. Both of those quotes are expired. They're only good for 30 days. And then all the trouble, as the Irish say, then the troubles came. So I'm assuming if we're gonna try to have a conversation about bond, then we need to be thinking about limping as much as we can. According to what Andy and Joey tell me, the 72 passenger is the one that's got the most mileage on it, but it's all long highway miles. Those two little buses run to the ranch country, and they're, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we put a Band-Aid on it and replace, number 303 out of our money, out of our bank account. That'll be about $100,000, somewhere maybe 110 in that ballpark. And then put the other ones on the bond proposal to see if we can get our stakeholders to help us do that. And, do it with bond money. But I'm open to your, suggestions if you want to pitch them at me.
I know when we were talking about buses during the bond process, we thought it would take us a year. Is that still the time frame?
I think when you order them, you have to count on 6 months before you get the bus.
Okay.
I don't know
7
why.
to 8.
Okay,
Now, but here's another, again, when you take a look at the national landscape. And I don't even know if you want to go down this path.
right.
New York City, Chicago, large metropolitan school districts have lost 20% of their student population since the pandemic. So I know they got rolling stock sitting there that they're not using. We might be buying used buses. I mean, it's like buying used cars, you know? It's hard to know. Most school districts take care of the rolling stock because they're putting kids on them.
Right.
So, you know, I could fish in that pond and see what the possibilities are. I mean, it would be like us when, most of them, I think, would be selling their excess stock in an auction. But, I mean, and also in the current environment too, to me, it's not outside the realm of possibility. You might work out a lease agreement with somebody. It might be a win-win
Right.
situation. So if you'd like for me to dig around in that, I can dig around in that. But the bottom line is, I mean, my recommendation right now is when we meet again next month is for me to have a quote for one, to replace one of the little ones now.
Yeah,
And then if we're gonna chase a bond, then put the other rolling stock on the bond. We'll do that. I'll bring you some options, all right, not a quote, I'll get you some quotes.
thank you.
And from my cousin and, no. And we got a work truck that's broke. A guy I trust a lot says I can put a $6,000 transmission in that $4,000 truck if you want me to. And so I don't think we need to do that. So I got my nose on the ground looking, I think we could get by with a used vehicle for a work truck.
Yeah.
It's just all the trash.
Just that little half ton.
The other activity bus that we have, that the rear air conditioner broke on it now. We thought we had it ready to go. And Ray had it down there the other day, and no, it didn't work. The rear one didn't work, and he didn't have the ability to supplier to take care of that part that he needed. So that was in the shop. And that's all I have on buses, on fleet.
Okay.
Am I talking too fast for the secretary?
We're making a motion.
Okay, ready to go next one?
Yeah, we'll update the progress on the new house.
John Loudermilk called me when I was in Shreveport last week. And he's the owner of Back Road, I started to say Back Road Builders. I did find out he's an old football coach like I am, but, looking for a way to make a living. Anyway, John says he thinks we can take possession of those houses somewhere around the 1st of April. I walked through them yesterday. Flooring's there, paint's there, still some electrical work to be done, still a little bit of plumbing to be done, but they haven't poured concrete and they haven't put fences up yet. So I'm kind of skeptical about that April 1, but he's the builder. But we're close, one way or another, we're close to taking possession of those. And when they do finish those, then we'll walk through and have a punch list and find, scratch marks on the wall or something, those kinds of things. We'll always go through that process. That's all I got on that, sir.
What's your thought on as far as those moving in, who's moving into them?
I've had no conversation about what the intention was on that, or about who was gonna live in them.
Okay.
You can tell me, or you can tell me in back channel if you want to. I did zero conversations about that. Have y'all had conversations?
We have
No, he was moving in.
Okay. Then I will-
Usually senior staff members are asked.
That's kind of-
Senior teachers, certified teachers, if they don't want to do it, then it just goes to senior, non-contract employees.
I will have conversations, and see what I can dig up on that.
Well, being those are two-car garages, I think you're gonna get a lot more than we usually get on the other one.
Well, yeah, my grandfather used to tell me, you know, as soon as you put a garage in it, you'll never park your car in there again. So turned into a storage room.
Mr. Bigelow had offered them or had discussed with Andy and Dina because of tenure, like you said before. I don't think Andy was gonna do it though, if I remember right, but Ms. Grubin was.
Let me poke around on that one. Hadn't even got to that part. Okay,
Discussion possible action authorize intern superintendent to initiate revised process for solicitation of a construction manager at risk to manage the softball baseball complex project.
could we just adjourn and go home? So, here's where we are on that. I've been digging through a bunch of information in there. And, I know when I talked to the architect, 2 weeks ago, one of the first things he said to me is, you are the fourth superintendent at Jayton that I've tried to work with on this project. And I know there's been a lot of starts and stops on it, and then the bond payment. But I also know, that, I guess it was 2 years ago, the board voted to have softball and baseball. And I also know that the facilities they were playing in are not really functional for those level of games. So here's where, why I put this on the agenda the way I did. From what I have dug up, because what we're talking about, at least the numbers I've seen, what we have been talking about, or has been talked about, is a project that's $5, $6, $7 million. It was possibly bigger than that when it was a bond item. According to what I've learned, it sounds like when the bond failed, conversations about that began to push that number lower and lower. I've had conversations with the architect. I've looked through as much documentation as I could find, starting back with, I think Johnny Tubb was the one that probably was responsible for most of the initial documentation stuff to get going. And I've known Johnny for 40 years. That's his wheelhouse. He loves that stuff. He likes to build stuff. So here's where I am. The construction manager at risk. And I'm probably going to tell you more than you want to know. But when school districts decide to build something, they can either get a general contractor, or the district can be its own contractor, and they can hire a construction manager at risk, which means the construction manager says, I'll build you this product for this amount of money, and if we overrun, it's my problem. Or you can hire a construction manager not at risk, which I have done at Guthrie. If you're behind schedule or over budget, then the construction manager just goes, tough, sorry, that's your problem, not my problem. So it's really hard to get them to finish on time, and it's really hard to get them to finish under budget. So the decision was made at some point here to go with construction manager at risk, which I think is a good choice. So when you're talking about, by law, when you're talking about big projects like this, you're supposed to advertise broadly and give contracting companies, construction companies, opportunity to look at what you want to build and put their bid in and say what if they think they want to do it and how much they think they'll spend doing it. It appears there was only one bid for construction manager at risk. And so since we are where we are, we don't have a project. We don't have bond money. If we're going to go to the commissioner's court and say, would you agree to spend permanent school fund money on this? My recommendation, and that's what this is on here for, is asking you to give me authority to put the hook back in the water and start the process over with a construction manager at risk to find one. Because to me, it's important that we have options to look at. There's not just a sole source provider on this deal. And another thing, that I learned the hard way at Guthrie is we had a hailstorm with, softball size hail one year. And we lost 18 schoolhouses, roofs. We lost, hail went all the way through one house. We lost every school building roof. We lost sides of buildings. We lost the track. We lost the scoreboard. And the very next morning after that storm, I had a line of roofers. One from Asper, you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. A roofing company from Aspermont, a roofing company from Paducah. And I did not doubt that they wanted that money because they knew what kind of money we're talking about. What I did doubt is that they knew how to put on a standing metal seam roof. I knew they could put on shingles, but I didn't know if they could roof a gym. And so it was important to me that we not only pick a contractor that was offering us a fair price for a good job, but someone that had the capacity to pull it off. And so that's why I'm asking you for permission to put our hook back in the water and say, let's see if we can find a construction manager at risk, get several bids to look at, and then we'll decide. Then we have the conversation about, okay, do we go forward with it or not? Now, the architect's already, we're already paying the architect, and Stephen, he's been great to work with. Stephen Rule is his name.
Can you say that last part again? About deciding if we're gonna go forward or not?
Right, then, well, here's what I'm thinking. Because I know that the drawings have taken several different shapes, and as far as I can tell, there's never been a good firm number settled on. And so what I think would be nice, if you all give me this permission to restart, is for me to have a conversation with Stephen Drew, the architect, tomorrow and say, let's take the drawings that you've created, and I want to take that version, and then I want to take a look at it and see what happens if we leave the batting cages off. And I want to take a third version. What I'd like to do is put 3 versions of that on the table for you all and say, how big a bite do we want to ask the commissioners to agree with us on? And then we turn loose on the project.
Would it be worth putting it back into a bond if we're gonna be talking a bond?
Well, that depends on why you think the bond failed. I know that there are some in the community that said the failure of that bond was because nobody wanted to have baseball and softball. But I've heard different views of why the bond failed too.
Yes.
So you listen to the comedian Nate Bargatze?
Well.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And that's a dicey, because if we go and do it again, and the bond fails again. Oh, and here's another factor too. If you all get tired of me between now and next April the 21st, then you're looking at another superintendent too.
Right.
That's also a possibility.
In my head, the bond was the best way to pay for the baseball complex.
I would not argue that at all. I agree.
It didn't take money out of our general fund that affected the general fund. That's my concern with pulling out $7 million.
Permanent.
Do what?
Yes. Permanent.
Yeah, the permanent school fund, I don't know if you looked at those documents. Elaine sent those to us the last week, I guess, 21 and change right now, I think. In there. And it can only be used for infrastructure kind of thing. But we do get interest on it.
I think putting the hook back in the water with just one bid would probably bring different bids. Compete now.
I cannot imagine.
There would be a little more competition because the first one was what, 15 million? We almost all got it and walked out. It was like, yeah, we're wasting our time.
Wait a minute,
But then-
say that again?
The first price tag we ever saw was about 15 and a half, wasn't it? 14.
It's 14,
And
so
we all looked at each other like,
Really?
these guys must have drank something when they were driving up here or something, because that is way off what we were even.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had been doing homework, like Monday's bill, Colorado City just had their inaugural
Right.
open, and it was like a third of that. And I was
Yeah.
like, something's not right.
Well, and relevant to the conversation too, I mean, I went to the baseball game at Hamlin yesterday, and they got a pretty nice field. It's grass, and I was looking at that and thinking, holy cow, at the manpower and water required to manage that great big lawn. The manpower we might overcome, the water is here, as you all know, it's a booger bear. That's a tough one. Well, anywhere, really, I think anywhere in West Texas, you have to consider the water, but,
And to me, having different bids to look at provides more transparency, provides
Agreed.
more line items, more
Agreed.
details
Agreed.
that we've been asking for.
Agreed,
So that gives me comfort.
agreed. If y'all want to proceed and give me permission to do that, I mean, one of the things that I'm gonna be asking for is, I don't wanna know just the big bottom line number. I'd like to see what you think the turf's gonna cost. I wanna see what you think the bleachers are gonna cost. I mean, I'd like to see some evidence of the line, you said line item.
I stopped by Colorado City, if that's the route that the board agrees to go, I would recommend whoever does it, that place is very nice. And
I know Dr. Polk.
4.5 million.
Yeah, and I think
The
Paragon did
bleachers
that.
were not, Paragon did it.
Paragon did that project, yeah.
Bleachers were nice, they had nice metal roofs, the back fence was kind of like a college field with a metal back fence, they did an awesome job there.
Mhm.
So if somebody says, well, what do y'all want? I would say go Colorado City and look, because that place I was pretty amazed by it.
Oh, what, 4.2, 4.5?
Really?
No, I think it was 8 something.
Well, that was about 4.2, but they didn't do a parking lot. Cause they had the old tennis court parking lot. They were gonna redo it. It's huge. It's about as big, it's bigger than a football field parking lot over here, but it was potholed. They didn't do anything with that.
Well, and I'm glad y'all mentioned that, because another complication in this whole project. We own the property in which we think we would put it. We don't own the property to get access to that. And I don't think that's gonna be a problem, cause I know how to get the owner thrown in jail if I need to, but it still hadn't been resolved. I mean, that's a legal piece that's still outstanding, yeah. And when Guthrie hired me to be their superintendent, they had already started building their gym and their field house and stuff, and then about the time we finished the gym, I found out that they didn't own all the lots that they built the gym on. So that was an interesting conversation.
Some of our city streets are dirt roads, so we're used to driving on dirt roads. We can make one up. Nice.
So
Nice.
we had to buy a
Asphalt
year's worth of
parking.
horse feed for somebody.
So do we need a motion to
Yeah,
give you permission?
I'll make a motion to approve you to put the hook back in the water and look for a, manager at risk for that project. Put it back out there.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you all for the confidence. I got a homework assignment.
I want to share one story on construction and board opinion and public opinion. When we first started talking about flopping the football field out here, making the home side on the west side.
Yeah.
We're not looking into the sun. We didn't for many years because we didn't own that property over there. Miss Coons finally decided she's not moving back. Her kids aren't moving back. Grandkids not interested. So that's where our tennis court set.
Yeah.
It was weird how checkerboarded that property is back there on all that. So now we have tennis courts. But to flip the field from the home side here to the other side failed in the board 5-2. Me and Lorraine Lee's the only one that was in favor of that. And we joked about it because like Lorraine, we never agree on anything, but so we put it to a community vote and I thought it was a great idea, but I mean, look at our facility we have now over there. It's one of the top ones and not just 1A, but in many levels.
Yep.
But it passed with the community in favor of 93%.
Yep.
It took us several years to finally flip that over there. And it is an investment, but,
Great.
I'm not I'm not recommending that we go community vote, or I'm not recommending we don't, but that's what we did to help us make that decision. We're
Right.
doing the right thing on that.
So relevant to that, Lacey and I had a meeting today with a couple of people from Region 17. We're getting a federal audit, by the way. I tried to get out of it. I said, I've only been here 2 weeks. Can we get out of it? But, anyway, when they were leaving, I don't think you heard this, when they were headed out the door, Frank said, is it all right if I drive over there and take a look at your new stadium? I said, yeah. Stuff at home. News traffic, a nice place. Okay, Cody, thank you all for that.
Thank you.
Program, instruction, curriculum, student performance accountability, looks like there's nothing there. Do you have something to go over?
On the,
11, you don't have anything, so we'll move to 12.
no, right,
Personnel, employee services and planning. We will discuss possible action on professional employee contracts of 2025-26 inclusive of 10-month term contract employees, 11-month term contract employees, and 11-month dual assignment term contract employees.
okay, on the screen are the professional contract employees. Now, these are people that have to have professional certifications of one kind or another, which includes teachers, counselor, and nurse. All of them have to have degrees and certifications and maintain them. So we have folks on different, I think previously y'all have done that, different line items of the different kind of contracts, and I don't really know that it matters. I had not heard, none of you have expressed any kind of heartburn with me about any employees. I've talked a couple of times with Mr. Humphreys about employee performance. So the ones that you see an asterisk by were first year last year, and so they were on probation. And they performed well and cleanly. And so we moved them to term contracts, 1-year term contracts. The 11-month contracts are band director, coaches, counselor, which is, a teacher contract is 187 days, even though that's kind of an awkward deal these days because we have school based on minutes instead of instructional days. But all those contracts are still based on, the 10-month contracts are based on 187 days. The 11-month contracts are 187 plus 20 more. And then the ones that you say where it says dual contract, those are, I guess every one of those are athletic coaches, I think. And what that means, and in the old days, when I was a coach, we were a teacher and a coach, and we got a stipend for coaching. So if the school board got really mad because I wasn't winning football games, they could fire me from coaching, and I could say, yeah, but I got a teacher contract. You can't get rid of me for that. Or the flip could happen. I could just get sick and tired of coaching your children and walk in to the superintendent and the principal and say, I'm done coaching. Give the coaching to somebody else. I'll just stay here and teach. And you were handcuffed. So many districts in recent years have gone to a dual contract with their athletic coaches, which means if you get tired of the way Nelson's coaching your team, and you can fire me for being a terrible coach, or you can fire me for being a terrible teacher, but once you fire me for one or the other one, both of them are gone. So that's what the dual contract is. Y'all are nodding like you already knew that, did you?
No, I was.
Sorry. Okay. But you can ask me, I mean, I don't want to talk about individual people. We're recommending that all those folks get a contract. On that topic too, though, as, I don't know if I'll be here a day or a week, a month or a year, I don't know, but whenever you all have heartburn or your phone is ringing, I hope your phone is not ringing much, but let me know. Let me know. We can give me a chance to dig into it and see what's going on. And I mean, if a person's behaving unprofessionally, unethically, then yeah, we got to do something different or redirect. But again, I'm referring to my other job, which is preparing 800 school leaders all from around this whole planet. It is a brutal marketplace, and if you're willing to get better and you're able to get better, there's probably not a more patient person on this planet than I am. But if you're not willing to get better, or you're not able to get better, then we need to part ways. You know, find a way to do something. That was a little bit of a sermon, we'll pass that afterwards.
I think we're good. We'll need a motion to approve the 10-11 contracts.
Well,
It makes a
I was
motion.
no, I'm gonna say I'm staying.
Sorry?
Oh, she's my sister.
Oh,
She's up there.
That's why we used to go one by one.
Well, that's.
wait, oh, you said you're abstaining.
I'm abstaining,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, correct, yeah, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Stephen makes a motion to approve.
About second.
Cody seconds it. All in favor? Great. Nobody has anything for executive session? Everybody good? Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Andy makes a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Stephanie seconds it. All in favor?
Yabba dabba do.
That was.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.